Remember a few weeks ago when everyone was like, Xbox is dying, Xbox is dead, and Xbox this Game Pass thing's not gonna work? Well, guess what, everybody? It is. We were right here on this channel. And why were we right? Are we geniuses? No, not a genius. But if you just take a step back, remove yourself from the emotion that is the internet, you can see exactly the path that Xbox is on. You can see the logic behind Game Pass. You can see the logic behind the acquisition moves in relation to Game Pass, and that's finally coming to fruition here. The Xbox Showcase was this weekend, and I think they absolutely nailed it. In fact, here's what I tweeted out. Sunday, June 9th, 2024 kicks off. I should have said officially kicks off because I've been saying this for a while, but officially kicks off the Xbox Domination Generation. This was the best Xbox showcase I've ever seen. No exaggeration. So many games, so many exciting games. There's a ton to look forward to. And I stand by that. I think this is the first time in my lifetime that for a showcase, not in my lifetime ever, I guess the 360 era, Xbox was pretty undeniable. But since the Xbox One era, so at least a decade, that Xbox has been undeniable. And the Xbox Showcase, Xbox was undeniable. So much so that they're silencing their critics. And that's what you do when you're undeniable. You silence the haters. So first up here, I did ask you guys, what did you think of the Xbox Showcase? Actually, let's hit refresh right here on this page. And let's see. There we go. 750 votes total. 81% of you gave it an A. 14% gave it a B. So that means 95% gave it a B or higher. 1% gave it an F. I'd love to know who that 1% is. Again, they're just haters and gonna hate on it no matter what. But I do think this was the best Xbox showcase. I think it shows off the strategy of Game Pass going forward. And I've used the analogy, it's like a rock rolling down a hill. And at first, that's slow moving. It doesn't really move. Maybe that rock is really heavy. But as it gains momentum, as it gains speed, it just knocks over anything in its path. And if you're a competitor to Xbox at this point today, you've got to be thinking, holy crap, when this machine really starts moving, when the Activision games start moving, the first party titles start moving, all of the Bethesda games really start rolling out here, like we saw for the first time since Xbox made this pivot to Game Pass, it's going to be a force to be reckoned with. I think the future is subscription-based gaming. Now, the future also, I think, is different when it comes to consoles. I think we're going to see consoles here in the future, but I think we're going to see handheld consoles as well. Phil Spencer had mentioned that a little bit. We're going to talk about that today as well. Before we jump into everything and highlight some of the haters who have been silenced because Xbox, they were undeniable. They were undeniable this weekend at the Xbox Showcase. Before we jump into that, hit that like button, subscribe to this channel if you haven't yet. If you enjoy logical, emotionally removed analysis of everything happening with Xbox and gaming, then this is the place for you. We didn't jump ship. We didn't overreact like so many in the gaming space did with, for instance, the Xbox layoffs that happened. Oh, and then, by the way, the next day, everybody else decided to lay off as well. We instead applied logic and analysis, and we've been saying exactly what everybody now seems to be coming around to say. Again, like, subscribe, join us here, share us with your friends. So first, let's jump into Angry Joe. I love Angry Joe. Angry Joe, many of you might not know, used to be a big Xbox guy until the Xbox One reveal, and which famously he was there, and you could tell Major Nelson was not very happy with him and some of the stuff that he said. And he did an interview with Major Nelson there at the unveiling of the Xbox One, and ever since then, he's not really been huge into Xbox anymore. He's kind of left it behind. Here's what he had to say. Wow, an actual good Xbox showcase. I thought that was pretty well done. I'm hyped for a lot of it. When OJ and Alex, that's his two guys that do reaction videos with him, get back, we will share up a full video. Again, it's what happens when you're undeniable, especially when State of Play, PlayStation State of Play was underwhelming, especially when the Summer's Game Showcase was underwhelming. I would like to say I think the Summer Game Showcase is probably going to go away. If you're Xbox, why do you want to have a presence there when you can own and control your own stuff? The more people you have involved, the more chances is for a leak. The more you're at the whims of someone else's presentation. You want to control it. You want to own it fully. So I don't think a lot of people were complaining about this year's Xbox, or not Xbox, the Summer Games Showcase. I think that's the reality that we're in. I don't think that it will ever be huge. I don't think that we're going to see as big of drops and releases that we've seen in past years, because I think from here on out, whether you're PlayStation, Xbox, or Nintendo, you want to own and control the narrative. You want to own and control your presentation. You want to own and control your audience there. But there's Angry Joe. Again, when you're undeniable, you get people to come back around. This is what he said. Next up, we have David Jaff. Jaff, I apologize if I mispronounce your name. He's the God of War guy. He has a podcast, a show, interesting opinions on Twitter. Definitely go check him out and follow him. He said, goodness, he definitely leans more PlayStation, though, I would say. More PC, actually probably more PC these days. But goodness, that was a fantastic show from Xbox, he says. And they've done little to suggest they can, but if they deliver on most of these games, the folks at PlayStation are going to have a serious conversation about how to compete moving forward. How the script has flipped. That's what happens when you're undeniable. And Xbox, make no mistake, Xbox and the Xbox Game Showcase was absolutely undeniable. We've got VGC opinion. The Xbox Showcase brought the E3 magic. We're not going to read that article, but that's just an example of what kind of the mainstream people out there are saying. Even Dreamcast guy who just hates Xbox to hate Xbox said it was pretty good. Now that's good for him. You're like, wait, he just said it's pretty good. I think in his video he gave it a 7 or an 8. I think he gave it a 7. It's like, my dude, if that's a 7, what's a 9 in your mind? What's a 10 in your mind? I give it a 9.5 or even a 10. I think it hovers right in between those two. But even him, when you're undeniable, you're undeniable. And that's exactly what happened with the Xbox Game Showcase. This is a retweet. We're not going to play this, but this is, in fact, we'll play it, but we'll turn it down. This is Ryan McCaffrey and the IGN crew right after the Xbox Showcase. And Ryan McCaffrey says this is the best showcase he's ever seen. And I think he's correct. I agree with him on that. I think absolutely it was the best showcase I have seen in my lifetime. And I've been saying this for a while, just with when Xbox was really rolling, when Xbox came on the scene, it was in between the Xbox and the Xbox 360 era. And then when Halo 3 dropped and Gears dropped, and that is when Xbox was leading. They were leading with Ethernet. They were leading with Xbox Live. Nobody else had done that before. And it feels like we're in that place again. Xbox is leading with this idea of game subscription, with a game subscription service, with this idea of cloud gaming, and moving forward with cloud-based gaming. And I think they're leading. I think we're right there on the cusp of Xbox being at that high of a 360 era again. I think this was the kickoff of that. I really do believe. And again, they've silenced a lot of the haters because they were undeniable. Be undeniable, ladies and gentlemen. But let's jump into Phil Spencer. Afterwards, had a lot of stuff to say, and he teased a future handheld device. He was asked about a handheld device. And I think it's important for Xbox. I've had the opportunity to play multiple handheld devices. 1 second. I've also had the opportunity. So here is the PlayStation Portal. And this is not a handheld device in the respect that you can't download any games natively to this. What you can do is stream from your PlayStation to this device. And I really like it. I've also been experimenting a lot with cloud-based gaming with the Xbox via my iPad, via my phone, and it's just right there. It's so close. But originally, so the PlayStation Portal is built in with PlayStation. It runs better. It runs better than Xbox Cloud does via my phone or my tablet. It just runs better. And I think it's because it's native built from PlayStation. PlayStation has an idea. They support it. They know they're trying to optimize it. Having said that, I do think that I agree with Phil Spencer here. He says Xbox, this is from PureXboxNews.com. He says Xbox boss teases awesome future in hardware in response to handheld rumor. He says the ability to play the game locally would be very important. Playing with the PlayStation Portal, it's very limited because you are only as good as your Ethernet. You're only as good as your Wi-Fi. And Wi-Fi is very imperfect. A lot of interference there. So there are certain games that work on cloud-based gaming and other games that just don't. Turn-based strategy games, for instance, work really well. Forza, much less so. Or racing games, much less so. First-person shooters, much less so. They still work pretty decent, actually, on the Portal. And even on the iPad with streaming to, from Xbox Cloud to the iPad, but it's still imperfect. And I do agree, you need to be able to do it natively, locally on your physical device there. I think that's the way that Xbox is going to go. Again, we're at this transition in gaming. Now, my brother, this is ROG Ally that's on screen here, and my brother just bought one. And he said to get this set up to play, it's not plug and play. You've got to go in and you've got to mess with stuff. You've got to download stuff. You've got to configure it to get it exactly where you want it to go via, to play Game Pass, for instance. But once you do, it works. This would be the benefit. So why should Xbox have a handheld and make their own? Because it would just work with Game Pass. It would be native. And I think it's a necessity. I think they need to do it. Let's read this article here real quick, though. Xbox has been undeniable. Now what does the future hold? And I think this is big to me, and I absolutely agree with it. I think in a day and age where more games are competing for our time more than ever before, and we have more options, you need a handheld. You need a device that you can play wherever you want, whenever you want, however you want. And so I think this is where PlayStation is going to go that way. I think Nintendo already has gone that way. They've been ahead of the curve there. I think Xbox is going to go that way as well. Xbox today revealed some new versions of existing hardware, but there was no mention of any handheld system despite ongoing rumors. If you're wondering what's going on there, during the same chat with IGN, Xbox's Phil Spencer has kind of acknowledged these rumors. While he didn't want to say or reveal anything specific, generally speaking, he thinks the future for Xbox in hardware is going to be pretty awesome. And that's quoted. He's actually quoted, pretty awesome. The future in Xbox hardware is going to be pretty awesome. According to Spencer, there'll be a, quote, time to come out and talk more about the platform. But he didn't make any further comments. However, when speaking about an Xbox handheld hypothetically during the same interview, he mentioned how, quote, very important it would be for a device like that to be able to play the game locally, in other words, natively, rather than the requirement for an internet connection like xCloud. This follows certain rumors which have suggested that a native handheld Xbox system is apparently in prototype phase. Sarah Bond has also previously mentioned how some hardware news will be shared around holiday 2024. She's also mentioned, if you remember, that their goal is to make the biggest jump between generations that we've ever seen. So I'm going to be very interested to see what that is. But I do think as part of their offering, as part of their hardware offering and options to players, a handheld is definitely in the mix there. Now, when you combine that with what we saw at the Xbox showcase, I mean, sky's the limit, and it's going to be amazing to see. Even Asmongold, if you watch, he did a reaction to this, and he's a PC guy. He watched it and said, wow, this is crazy that it's on Game Pass, but why do I need to buy an Xbox? And then the Gear 6 trailer dropped, and he said, okay, done. Buying an Xbox, baby. That's how big this was. That's how, again, let's go back to my tweet. I firmly believe this. Would love to know what you guys think. I think Sunday, June 9th, 2024 is going to be viewed as the official kickoff of the Xbox Domination Generation. I've been saying it all along. I think the moves they've been making with acquisition, with cloud-based gaming, and with Game Pass, moving the industry forward, changing and adjusting, trying to onboard new people into gaming and reach as many people as possible through this subscription service. I think this marks the beginning of that Xbox Domination Generation. I think there's so much to look forward to. I would love to know what you guys think. Number one, do you want a handheld? Now, I don't think a handheld's, like I said, I think it's going to just be part of an offering. You're going to have a ballsy Xbox console experience. But then as part of that, you will also have the option, I think, for portability and portable gaming overall with Xbox. But I'd love to know what you guys think. Am I over exaggerating here? Am I too high because it's too soon after the Xbox Game Showcase? Or am I correct? Is this the beginning? Does this mark the beginning of the Xbox Domination Generation? I think it does. Let me know yay or nay in the comments below. Again, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to this channel. My name is X1 the Gamer. We do videos like this all the time right here, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.